Hello everyone, welcome to the DraftCast, the place to get all your news about the draft events of the week. This week we're going to do our review of Game Week 15's league table. We're going to do a review of our guests' team, we'll do our player and team predictions of the week, and then we'll have our guest segment at the end. This week we've got Richard Price, the manager of Bruno Penandes, on. Say hello, Rich.
Good morning, Luke. Good morning, everyone.
How are you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Just getting over the Christmas festivities, as we all are, I guess.
Lots of drink, lots of food.
Too much, yeah. Overindulged, but yeah, got the rest of the year now to work it off.
Yeah, it's the way though, isn't it? It's got to be done.
Yeah. Especially after this year, yeah.
Yeah, I imagine a lot of people have gone probably too far this year, but I don't blame them.
No, me either.
Right, we'll start with the league table from Game Week 15.
Yeah, it was an interesting one, I thought.
Yeah, no, literally only one movement, which is you and Tolly switching places. Nice little battle going on there between you two.
Yeah, I mean, I think that mid-table battle is going to be one that goes to the end now. Hopefully, I'll be in it until the end. I think, given the team's consistency and stuff like that, I think if that continues, I'll just be there or 6th or 7th, like throughout the entire season. Hopefully.
Yeah, I think you guys in the middle are having a good battle.
Yeah. It's quite close all the way down when you look at it, isn't it? Like,
yeah. There's a bit of a
even
gap
the
between
bottom
6
guys,
and 7, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's not too big, I don't think. So we've got Will with the top score of the week on 48, and Jack with the lowest at 30. Not much. It wasn't really a big week, I don't think, this week. There's only a few people over 40. Everyone else pretty much in the 30s, so...
Yeah, usually, like, in weeks gone by, there's always been someone breaching 50 or getting like a really sort of decent score, like above 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like you said, no one in the 20s. I think Lawrence had a bad week last week with 22, was it? That was... but yeah, I mean, even he's had sort of a semi-decent week. I mean, I think my aim for each week is to get 40 or above, or anything close to that. I think if you try and average that for it the whole season, you'll be somewhere thereabouts at the end, maybe.
Definitely.
That's what I hope.
Yeah, I'm not really much else to say. I think it just shows that, like Jack was saying last time, the rotations of the teams over these really close game weeks is probably going to result in scores like this for each game week. But you just never know. You never know who's going to score well, who's not. But we'll talk about that more when we get to the predictions segment.
Yeah.
So we'll move on to the team review of your team.
Okay.
So, like you said, you've got 38 points this week, so not bad. Mina scoring well for you.
Yeah,
7.
I mean, I think I drafted him in last week. I mean, I think they've got a strong team, haven't they? I think they had a semi-decent fixture list. I think they've got a couple of tough ones coming up, but I think as a team, they can defend well. I mean, my entire sort of defensive line this week, I did expect, or was expecting, 6s across the board. I mean, I drafted Ogbonna in just purely for the reason of the upcoming fixtures. I think the next five fixtures are favourable fixtures. So I kind of felt there were some good points there. So I was a bit disappointed that it didn't go to plan yesterday. But I mean, there's a few in that back line that might need to get swapped out.
Have you made any? Have you brought any waivers in for game week 16?
Yes. I brought in Saka from Arsenal. I know Arsenal have had like a pretty dire run up until now, but I mean, I had a decent result last game, and I don't know. I mean, but in previous games as well. I mean, like when they have played, like going forward and stuff like that, they have like put together some good moves, but just not finished it off.
Yeah.
And I think for me, like Saka was sort of like very much a part of like the creative and the sort of attacking force for that. So I felt like he might be a good draft if Arsenal got the confidence after this game going forward. So I think looking at Jim said he was after him in the chat, but I don't know whether that was just a red herring or not. And I think only one. What? Oh, you reckon it was?
I think it was serious. Yeah, I mean that's happened to him a few times this year already. He's put it in the group who he's going for, and then doesn't get that person.
But he didn't put a bid in for him. I don't think. I don't know whether he thought it was just a bit like of a waste of time given his league position and him not getting the trade or not. But I think Lawrence maybe went for him as well.
Oh yeah, you're right. He didn't.
Yeah, because that's
maybe you're right. Maybe it was a red herring, but
yeah.
Never mind.
But we'll see. Like I say, like I think if Arsenal are playing good football and well, I think he'll be. He should be amongst the points.
Yeah. So do you think because I was going to ask you now who you expect to score well this week?
From my team?
Yeah, from your team, yeah.
It's a tough one. I mean, I've got Wood from Burnley, who's playing Sheffield United, who are obviously not in a great league position at the minute. But then Burnley's sort of consistency of scoring is not that great, and especially Wood's, like he'll get sort of one in every 5 or 6 games maybe.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say Wood. I mean, my entire front line is pretty bad, and my entire midfield. Like I had a bit of a crisis over the last couple of weeks with, I don't know whether it was rotation or not, but like literally half, like 3 or 4 of my midfield and defensive players just weren't in the first team or weren't even getting on the pitch. So that's why I've had to make quite a lot of changes. I think I bought Henderson in, Decore in, just to try and like fill up those holes basically. But back to your other question of, do you mean when you say point scoring, do you mean just in general across the team, or do you mean like who's going to score a goal or an assist and get me the points that way?
Yeah, who do you think out of the players you've got is going to score the highest for you this week? Just 1 or 2 players.
Okay.
I mean, I see you're holding Jota down there on the bottom of your bench. What's his little red exclamation mark saying at the moment? Is he coming back anytime soon?
Oh, he says he's expected back on the 3rd of February, so still a long way off. It's a funny one. Whilst he was in my team, he was obviously in a good run of form.
Yeah,
and it was good to have him in the team because obviously Zaha's a funny one as well, because obviously the team is in. It's the consistency of scoring is not great, so like you'll go quite a few weeks where Zaha will just score 2s or 3s maybe, quite often 2s, but then you'll get the odd week where he'll just go mad and he'll get like 2 goals and an assist, or 2 assists and a goal, and he'll score you like 15 or something like that, and it's just but like Jota was good because when Zaha wasn't scoring, Jota was tending to score. So like between those two, it was like a decent midfield combination, because with the other ones that you could throw in there, you'd have quite a consistent midfielder in terms of points. But obviously Jota's been injured, and I'm a bit in 2 minds what to do with him, whether to keep him, whether to, because even when he comes back, I'm guessing it's gonna be a little bit of time. Yeah. So I mean, I might send him to the freeze or something like that if there's something good in there, or if there's a player that's got a particularly good run coming up. Yeah. Sorry. Going away from your question again. Points. I'm going to say maybe I'm going to put trust in Saka. I'm going to predict that Arsenal are going to have a good game against
Brighton.
Brighton, yeah, and I'm going to predict that Saka is going to score me the most points.
A lot of pressure on your new man.
Yeah, either that or Pope, because he's got the tendency to be a big scorer as well if he's got plenty of saves and a clean sheet in him.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's my prediction. Putting faith in the new boy.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I don't have any other questions. I suppose if you got anything else you want to mention about your team at the moment, is there any players you've got your eyes on in other managers' teams that you'd like to trade with?
I mean, there's always players that I'm looking at in other players' teams, but getting them is the hard part. I've been close a couple of times with a few different managers. I think I've established some good trading relationships with some of the other managers in the team, like Adam's team, for example, the PK Blinders, and I'd say Will, Gareth Northgate, and maybe James. Actually, James has got to be on that list. Emil Pesky. I think between those three are the people that I tend to get a trade with.
Yeah. Well, James and Adam are the most active when it comes to trading, I would say. They're the most likely to either offer out trades or sort of get the ball rolling on one. I mean, James, he just loves to trade, doesn't he? So, yeah.
He does. You can always rely on James for a trade. But yeah, I've been close with a few others, mainly Lawrence with the chicken tikka masala. We've been very close a few times to deals, but it just never quite works out in either one of us our favour. It's either in one of our favours or the other, and we're just not prepared to budge.
Yeah, that's like what Jack and I were saying last time. You know, at the end of the day, when you do a trade, you always got to look at it that you're winning the trade. Yeah. So, everybody's trying to get the better deal, as it were. But yeah, I think there's been a few, well, like Jack was saying last time, some of the trades have gone very one way. And
yeah, well, yeah. I've had experience of them. But
yeah, you just can't read what's going to happen, can you? So, but let's try and continue trying to read what's going to happen by looking at the predictions for the week. So last time round, Jack and I said, well, Jack was saying he thought I was going to be the top scorer, but my Southampton players didn't really perform for me. So that was a bit of a shame. We mentioned Tolly as well, but again, he didn't keep up his form this time round.
Yeah.
I said that I thought Jack might do it with Salah, but again, Salah he didn't perform. And Jack was saying he thought Trent Alexander-Arnold was going to be the game week scorer, but that didn't come through either. So trying to look at it this week, I think it's an even tougher week to try to predict what player is going to score well and which of our teams is going to, top the scoring board.
Yeah.
Who do you think? You go first.
What, in terms of a top scorer?
Yeah, do both. Do your team and your one player who you think is going to top the week.
So yeah, I mean, so team wise, I mean, I've had a quick look at it. And as much as I wouldn't want it to be, because he's my closest rival, I guess you'd say, in the table. But it would be Tolly's team.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just given the fixtures, I think he seems to have players with favourable fixtures. That if those teams sort of win or whatever, he should be up there with the points, because I think the players that he's got from those teams are all high scorers. So like providing Liverpool win, Leeds win, with his key players scoring, Man United win. I think he should be up there. But then like you say, like we've made predictions about this before, and especially the league this year, like it doesn't happen the way you expect it to happen. But yeah, I'm going to stick with Tolly, I think, and say he's going to be my highest scorer.
Yeah.
In terms of a player, for me, I think it's going to come in the Wednesday games. Looking at the fixtures, I mean, Spurs are at home to Fulham, Liverpool away to Newcastle.
Yeah.
You'd have to think the players that those two teams have got in Spurs and Liverpool, it's going to come from one of them. So I'm going to say, I'm going to go with Spurs because I really hate Liverpool. So I'm going to say Son's going to have a good week, I think.
Yeah, I agree with you there. That's who I was going to go with, was Son. Yeah. It's always him or Kane, with them two in that team. Whenever we get a notification of a goal, it's always got one of them two in the assist or scoring position. So could go either way, but I think Son's form seems to have been that little bit better recently.
Yeah.
So I think I'd go with Son. Team-wise, I'm going to back Team Rowe this week.
Ooh.
I've got no particular reason. I think he might be about to turn the table. He's got 40 points this week, so we'll see. But again, it's also, he's getting married today, isn't he? So congratulations to Tom and Clemency.
Yeah, congratulations indeed.
Maybe the all game week score could be one of your wedding presents to yourself. But we'll see. I think it could be another interesting week this week. We might end up with everyone doing the same as they've done this week, very, say, average scores across the board. Or we might get one or two people running away with it. We don't know. So look forward to finding out in a few days. So I forgot to mention earlier, Richard, you are one of our new members of the draft this year.
I am, yeah.
So this week you're going to do a review of the draft experience so far from your point of view. So I have a couple of questions. I know you've got some things to say. Where would you like to start?
Start with the questions.
Okay.
If that's all right.
Yeah, sure. So my first question is, what do you think has been the hardest part about the draft so far?
Ooh. I'd have to say, trade. I think it's got to be. It's got to be the trading aspect of it. Especially if you've got a team of average players. So I think most teams have a combination of average players, but I think most teams have got some of the really top players, whereas my team doesn't. I mean, that's partly through my own fault. But yeah, now I'm in that position of just having those average players. It's very difficult to get a trade that benefits me.
Yeah.
Because obviously the players that I've got aren't necessarily players that anyone really wants, or they're no better than the players I've already got, essentially. A lot of the time. So actually, I think that's the hardest thing is just trying to improve my team to a point that I could actually move up the table. But I think I'm resigned to the fact now that I'm just going to have to keep rotating, predict what's going to happen, and just keep rotating the team. based on how I think the results are going to go, and just try and pick up players that are going to score consistent points for that game week, and just keep rotating and rotating.
I'm sure, if some of your players do start to score well week on week and get a bit of form, you might be able to use them as a bit of leverage.
Well, exactly. This is it.
Yeah, it's difficult. I mean, I've always struggled to determine the value of a trade when I've either put one together or I've had one sent to me. So yeah, trading's something I've always struggled with. So I'd agree with that.
That's a hard thing as well. That's the other hard thing as well. Is letting a player go. Is say like you do have that kind of player that isn't necessarily on everyone's wish list or whatever, but then they come into a good run of form, like consistently scoring like decent points every week. You've got like a value then, and it's like, what do you do? Do you keep him and like enjoy the points, or do you trade while his stock is high and try and like change it up? But it's like that moral dilemma of like, am I doing the right thing? It tears you apart a little bit. Well, tears me apart anyway. I spend long nights thinking like, what do I do?
Yeah, it's tough. So my next question is, how have you coped with the barrage of messages that come through on the WhatsApp group on a daily basis, might I add?
Yeah, I mean, I do constantly have my phone in do not disturb mode, just because it does get mental. But like I do it is quite fun to, especially like if you're a part of the conversation, you're obviously part of the conversation, aren't you? So you're in it. But like as a spectator, when there's like a massive conversation going on, like it is so much fun just to sort of like go back and read it. Like it is like it's like a bit of a story, isn't it? Like, but yeah, there's some hilarious chat that goes on there. But yeah, like I like it. I mean, I was in the unique position, I guess, of like I was kind of a part of the chat before I was a manager. So I came into the chat when we thought the season was going to end during the first lockdown, and then obviously the season restarted. So I saw firsthand like the latter part of last season. Obviously, like I wasn't a manager, so it was difficult for me to sort of get into the chat, I guess. Have like a common sort of thing to talk about or whatever. So I'd often just leave my phone like on the side or whatever. And I think the most messages I've ever come back to was like 771 misread messages, and they were all from this group, and that was one afternoon's worth of messaging. So I can't remember what the chat was about, but that was a particularly
that's a good
big
afternoon. I don't think I've ever come back to that many, and I had the chat on mute for the last year. So I got told off and had to unmute it this year.
You got a bit of stick for that, I think. But yeah, I mean, I don't mind the messages. Like I say, it's like a conversation that's always there. Like if you ever sort of wanting to chat or whatever, there's always something going on in the chat to talk about or talk to or whatever. So I think that side of it is pretty good, and it's got some pretty amazing stats as well, hasn't it? That chat, in terms of
it does
messages sent by certain people, and gifts and stuff like that.
Okay, I haven't got any more questions for you, so I welcome your thoughts, your raw thoughts on the draft.
Yeah, I mean, what can I say? I think it's probably the most organized draft that is probably in existence in the UK, I'm guessing.
I'm sure we would like to claim that title. But I'd like to think we're not far off, but you never know.
I'd love to do a bit more research into it and see what other drafts actually get up to. I'm sure there's people that must post post things as we're doing now about their drafts and stuff like that, and I've seen different pictures and stuff like that, but I still think like this draft is like it's got to be up there. But yeah, like the levels of effort that like the management, should I call them, or the council,
the draft
the
council,
draft
yeah.
council. The efforts that these guys go to put things together and just constantly keep things fresh, I guess, is it's pretty good. I don't know how they find time to do it sometimes. Like, well, I'm guessing it takes precedent over their actual lives at some points. But like as it says on the podcast, draft is life, so they really take it to heart. But yeah, that aspect of it is really good. I mean, like just the one example. I mean, the Christmas party just gone. I mean, I know you talked about it in the other one, but like the thought that went into that, like organizing something like that, like even during like COVID, like with social distancing and stuff like that, is I think most people would have just knocked it on the head, wouldn't they? And
yeah. Well, you can imagine what it's like when we actually get together.
In
terms of organisation, it's a great thing to be a part of. That's for sure.
Yeah, I mean that was one of the draws to the draft for me. Obviously, seeing like different things like on people's Facebooks and stuff like that, like things going on like within this group and stuff like that. I was like, oh, that looks really cool, and obviously I was new to your group, I guess, of friends. So yeah, it was just just seemed like a really good group to be amongst, and it's turned out that way. So yeah, got no regrets, I guess, of joining the group, and
that's good.
Yeah, so that aspect has been really good. I think it's been a steep learning curve, shall I say? I mean,
I think I can understand that.
You got to be on top of it, like not all the time. I think you can get away with not being on top of it all the time, maybe, but like I think if you want to do well, you've got to really be like a student of the game almost. And I think that's where I lack. Like I think I mean I enjoy football. I've always enjoyed football, but I've never followed it as closely as perhaps some of the other guys have, like your Wills and your Adams and your Jacks. Like those guys live football from what I've seen anyway.
I mean, I could not. You know, the way that they are able to track players from all the teams and their form and know if that person's going to be playing or not, I just cannot comprehend how that sort of information gets inside your head.
It's not just that as well. It's like other leagues, and like every single league, they've got like a sort of knowledge of, and like I mean, I follow the team that I support and that league, and maybe like keep an eye on like other things that are going on. But like, yeah, those guys like it is like massive part of their lives, and I think that obviously they do benefit from having that sort of vested interest in the details of every team and stuff like that. Although it doesn't seem to be paying Adam back at the minute, as he is bottom of the league, but I'm sure he'll be racing back up there after Christmas.
He did have a big trade this week, so we'll see what happens with that. Who knows?
But yeah, I mean, back to the steep learning curve, I guess. Like I obviously got burnt pretty early in the season with
still bitter,
just a little, not bitter, just regretful.
Yeah.
I think. I honestly thought that big trades or big player trades would happen like way more frequently. So I thought by getting rid of Fernandes in week 3, I thought, oh, like I'll be fine. Like I'll get like Rashford next week, or I'll get like Son the week after. Like I thought like these things would just be flying around.
No.
But yeah, like it just doesn't happen. Like unless obviously you've got the players and who I traded Fernandes for. Obviously wasn't a trade in my favour, I'd say. But you live and you learn. But I mean, at the time, I did have in my head that like I had this idea of like trying to. I was like, oh, I want to be cool if I could try and moneyball the league and like do it without any of like the tier 0 or tier 1 players.
I mean, you're giving it a good go. You could go. You are up in 5th, so.
So yeah, I mean, I got rid of Fernandes, and then had this team of average players. But like I say, like I wanted to do the Moneyball thing, but I'm just not smart enough for the numbers. I don't think. But like,
there's only so much you can rely on them. I think this year's shown that some, especially with like the the not having fans and that, it seems to have affected a lot of the teams.
Yeah,
and we've had some really weird scores, haven't we? So yeah, it's not as statistical as you might hope, but it's definitely can be, because we know that the certain big players are going to score well across the season, and that's the way a lot of people look at it, isn't it? Like your Sons and Kanes, they're like, well, over the season they're going to be at the top of that leaderboard of score, so it's valuable to have them in your team. But yeah, so that's what those big trades, when they come along, they ruffle up the chat a lot, don't they? So
yeah, I mean, I did think like this, like obviously with the COVID stuff, like this season would be like a weird one, and I had like this thought like where it would be like the season of like the outbreak players, like the young players like getting into the team and stuff like that. And I honestly thought I think I drafted a few of them. I can't remember my original drafting. I think I drafted a couple of young players thinking that they would be like the breakout stars in that team like during this like COVID year. And yeah, they never really materialized. I think I think Eddie Nketiah was one that comes to mind, where it's not really materialised for that guy. So yeah.
Okay. Is there any final thoughts that you want to bring over for your review?
There's probably loads of stuff that I'm missing out.
It's quite easy to talk about it all day, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I guess as a final message or thought, I'd just like to thank people, thank everyone for accepting me into the league and let me play along, and I really enjoy it, and I hope it continues for forever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't, I'm sure everyone would definitely welcome to have you. You've been a great addition. It's definitely made having 10 people in the league's definitely had an impact, I think, and a good one. I don't know what the future holds for whether there's going to be multiple leagues, so you might have a relegation zones and stuff, but we'll see. We're a long way from that, I think.
But I think it would only make it more interesting. There's more to lose, isn't there, if there's relegation involved? Pride-wise, I guess. But I mean, I wouldn't say it's beyond the realms of possibility, especially with the guys that run the league.
I think we need another 10 people at least, I think, to make that work properly. But if we get there one day, that'd be impressive, I think. And probably a big dream of Adam and James.
Yeah, maybe if Ali gets famous enough on the socials, another famous league will
Yeah.
like merge together with ours, and we have like this big super league, and then we can have the relegation and promotion aspects.
God, that'd be mad. That would be mad. More people to get on this show, though. That would be good.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, well, I think we'll leave it there for this week.
Cool.
Thanks for coming on, Rich.
No, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been good. Thanks for listening, everyone. This is the DraftCast. And remember, draft is life. See you next time.